Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing the 2021 television series that aired on FX called Impeachment, the true crime story. Now, when you think of impeachment, actually, of course, most people would think of Donald Trump, right? Because the only president who was impeached twice, once when he was in office and the other time when he wasn't in office anymore. But I'm not discussing that impeachment. I'm sure there's going to be a series on that, but I'm going to be discussing the other impeachment, which a lot of people kind of forgot about, which was of course the impeachment trial of one Bill Clinton, who actually became the second president to be impeached. The first one was Andrew Johnson back in the late 1860s. I should say 1860s. After he took over for Lincoln, he was impeached. He was the only president until Bill Clinton, over 100 years later, to be impeached. So it should be quick. And it happened twice in my lifetime that the president has been impeached. You can see, what about Nixon? Well, Nixon resigned before he was impeached. Because Congress already sent the articles of impeachment to the Senate, and before the Senate was able to vote on it, Nixon quit. So technically, he wasn't impeached. He was about to be impeached in Nixon's case. But and I'm getting off topic. But the series Impeachment, they aired on FX, was a 10-part series, and they finally found the time to watch the thing. And it is a pretty quick movie series. Even though it's 10 parts, it felt longer than it is. Because it felt like it was, padded out a little bit, but the series moved along pretty quickly, and it came out. The thing that I had was when I get into towards the end of it, is that you never had like a text scroll on the screen or a text at the end of the series saying like, where are they now, type thing. That they didn't do, which is my nitpick on the whole series, at least major nitpick, because this series does take place like 25 years 25 years later. That Bill Clinton was running for a second term, and he started an affair with Monica Lewinsky. Because at that time, Bill Clinton was actually being sued by Paula Jones when Bill Clinton was running for and was governor of Arkansas, and he was being sued by Paula Jones for sexual harassment, and of course they made Paula Jones into pretty much a hick from the sticks. All the crap with her husband as an employee. He said, "Oh boy, well, making the money, now Bill Clinton, That's what they made Paul Jones' husband look like. Said, boy, I'm going to cash in. Rubbing his hand like this. Boy, I'm going to cash in. We're going to get even with that son, with that Clinton. We're going to get even with it, with what he did. And I'm not exaggerating. That's how that Paul Jones' husband was made out to be like that. The mustache truly, I'm going to get that Bill Clinton no matter what it takes. And I'm not exaggerating with that, folks. That's not. And then when that was going on, you had with Linda Tripp working in the White House. Of course, you find out later on that she was the one who taped, or audio taped, recorded her conversations with Monica Lewinsky on the phone. And it shows the evolution that they became friends, that they constantly talk on the phone, they constantly went shopping together, the co-workers, the Department of Defense, and doing all these things, and then at first, then the Tripp was bothered by Monica constantly calling him all the time. Oh, this girl's a pest. This girl's a pain in the neck. And at the same time, on one hand, she was whining and complaining. And then the Tripp was whining and complaining about Monica constantly calling her, and she spent all these hours on the phone together and stuff. And at the same time, then the Tripp was manipulating Monica for Monica to open up to her about all this stuff was going on between her and Bill Clinton. because the story was going around that she was fooling around or had an affair with Bill Clinton, which she did, by the way. And how she described some of Bill Clinton's antics, like sticking a cigar up her. Well, I don't want to get too graphic here, but what Bill Clinton did is with a cigar to Monica when they were fooling around in the Oval Office or a closet off to the side of the Oval Office, and we did get pretty graphic at times about what happened between the two of them. And even though you never actually saw anything, if this was a regular theatrical movie, a 10-part cable miniseries, I'm sure they would show it. What Bill Clinton did to Monica Lewinsky, but they didn't show. Thankfully, they didn't show because I don't think I don't want to see that. But it comes out, Monica was portrayed a lot of times as this whiny little fat girl. Throughout the series, I mean, she was portrayed that way. That she was obsessed with Bill Clinton. She always gives buying him like ties and stuff. And he didn't want if he wore his tie, it was one of the ties that Monica bought him. It was a signal to meet me in the White House. We could have sex, or do oral sex, or do a blowjob, as they call it, and all that type of thing. And so when Monica goes into details with Linda Tripp, you can say on one hand, Linda was saying, "Oh, this girl's a pain in the ass," but on the other hand, it said, "Hey, I could use this girl for a book deal." And Linda Tripp actually had this deal with the book publisher, and the book was, "Oh, that's not juicy enough." So you gotta prove what you're saying. You can't just put it down in print. You gotta prove what you're writing. And so Linda told the book publisher in one particular scene, so, "Oh, I know this girl named Monica Lewinsky. I know for a fact that she's having an affair with Bill Clinton." And he says, "Well, can you prove it?" I said, "No, I can't prove it." "Well, the only way you can prove that is if you record her." I said, "Wait a minute." And they go to this whole McGill. I said, "Wait a minute, we're in Maryland, and it's a 2-point state." What I mean by that is if you record somebody, well, there are some states in this country that if you don't tell somebody that they're being recorded, on the phone, if you're talking to someone on the phone, and if you don't tell the person you're recording them, you can go to jail. You get arrested, you get charged for it. And so, but in some states, like I'm in New York, it's a one-party state. And it means is that I can record. Let's say you talk to somebody on the phone, I can record them, or vice versa. They can record me without telling me about it, and I can't do a damn thing about it because it's a one-party state in New York. But in Maryland, where Linda Tripp and Monica Lewinsky were living at the time, it's a 2-party state. It means Linda Tripp was recording Monica illegally, and of course Linda Tripp did end up facing charges for doing that, even though and she said, "Oh, I thought I had immunity." And I said, "Yeah, but this was federal charges, but this was a local state charges." Come on, I should get immunity from everything. And she was like whining. A lot of people were whining on this series. I said, I shouldn't get charged anything. I said, well, those are state charges. You got immunity for federal charge, for all federal charges, but not on state charges. That's how it works. And I said, "Oh, come on, give me a break." "Oh, come on." It's doing like with Matlock now. Randy Graves, there's one episode where goes, "Oh, come on," to the judge. That's what Linda Tripp was doing, and then Monica got ticked off that Linda Tripp portrayed her. Which she did Linda Tripp portrayed Monica for a book deal, and then of course you had the whole thing with him testifying. What's the definition? It depends on what your definition of is. Trying to play on that. And it's, we didn't really have sex. Sex is not sex. According to him, according to Bill Clinton. So you had all that stuff going on. And then, of course, eventually, they found out that Bill Clinton did lie under oath, and so that's committing perjury, saying they didn't have an affair with Monica, which in fact he did. And of course, Monica got into trouble because she lied. She never had an affair with Bill Clinton, which in fact she did. And so of course, she decided she got immunity for those charges for lying on an affidavit. And she said that she actually did have an affair with Bill Clinton, and she lied to protect Bill Clinton. And so of course, the thing is, Bill Clinton never pressured me. I did it all on my own. And of course, which I don't think anybody believes that, but that's what Monica said. I did it on my own because I was so in love with Bill Clinton that I decided to protect him on my own. He didn't put any pressure on me to lie. But you have to be a fly on the wall really to know what really happened. Because you have Monica's side of the story, you have Bill Clinton's side of the story, and the truth is in the middle somewhere. That's the other thing. You have two sides. You actually have three sides of the story. You have Monica's side, you have Bill Clinton's side, and the actual truth, which is in the middle. So between the two stories. So it's like who is more credible, a woman who had an affair with the president in the Oval Office, or Bill Clinton? Who has the more credibility? I think Monica Lewinsky has more credibility than Bill Clinton does. And now, of course, you have the whole thing with Hillary. She was played by Edie Falco in this series, by the way. From The Sopranos. She didn't have all that many scenes through the whole series, but the scenes that she had, she was pretty damn good in it. And of course, she wanted. And to this day, people still don't understand why she didn't leave Bill Clinton after that. You know why? Because if she stayed married, it would give her a better shot of being president. Of course, we all know that she never won the presidency, and now she's repeating a speech she would have said, 5 years ago if she had actually won, which she didn't actually win. She got more votes than Trump did, but who knows how many of those are legit? Because it's more, the elections are so fake. It's not even funny, but that's another story. But it does. The final part, which is like the longest part in the whole series, did go into what happened with all the major players. It said about it didn't really go into the the whole thing was called impeachment, right? This whole series, but you never actually saw the impeachment trial. They didn't show any footage. They didn't have any footage with the impeachment trial, or they didn't say that Bill Clinton. They never made the formal announcement that Bill Clinton got off with the impeachment charges. He was acquitted, and so it looks like Bill Clinton's going to get acquitted. And he had footage with Dan Rather and Tom Volko saying the Bill Clinton's going to get acquitted, but they never actually used footage of Tom Volko, Dan Rather, or Peter Jennings, the three main anchors at that time, made the formal announcement that Bill Clinton got acquitted with the impeachment, or to show the impeachment trial. They showed nothing of that, which I thought was kind of a ripoff. I mean, it is called impeachment, and you never saw the impeachment trial or reenactment of the impeachment trial of Bill Clinton. You never show that. I thought that was a total ripoff, and of course, there's one infamous scene. You actually do have a nude scene in this series, in my add. It's with Paula Jones posing for Penthouse magazine. Originally, I thought it was Playboy magazine, but in the series, it's Penthouse, and of course, Penthouse is not around anymore. And you do see her naked from the back. You see her whole naked body from the back, which is not a bad thing, but especially the actress who plays Paula Jones. I mean, she looked almost just like her, but you saw her posing for Penthouse. You did see Monica Lewinsky at a book signing. Everybody's going nuts. You get Monica's an autographed copy of Monica's book. But we did see Linda Tripp with her book coming out. Finally, which she did came out with a book. You never said anything about having Linda Tripp. I think Linda Tripp has just passed away. And people were giving her crap about, don't say anything about around Linda Triple, although because she may be recording you, stuff like that. Or people giving it to Monica Lewinsky. I mean, Monica Lewinsky in the 25 years since the story. It was I think it's like almost 25 years since the story came out. But her affair with Bill Clinton, she hasn't worked in 25 years, folks. Monica, she's so infamous. I mean, so hated, because her affair with Bill Clinton and people hating her for it, crapping on her for it, that she has not worked since. I am not kidding. She hasn't worked since. But I think she has some kind of foundation now and doing some work for people who suffer sexual harassment, like she did. But she had to create it on her own and not through somebody hiring her, because all the publicity she got from it, and I mean, it was like 25 years later, and she's still getting crap for it, unfortunately. But the series itself, I think the series is not that bad, considering my nitpicks for it. Like I said, they didn't show anything in the impeachment trial, or nothing official that they didn't show any official footage of the announcement that Bill Clinton's been acquitted, or a text on the screen saying, doing "Where are they now?" type thing. What happened in the trip? What happened to Monica Lewinsky? What happened to Clinton? But that type of stuff. They should put something like that at the end of the series, at the end of the final part on this. But I felt it was well done. I mean, they did the best they could with the material they had. That they had either Matt Drudge with the Drudge Report and saw on the internet, and when the store, the Kent Store report came out, the whole internet crashed and all that type of thing. And I thought it was not a bad series, but I think it could have been either slightly better if they didn't make the women who went after Clinton to be like whiny people. I think everybody was whining in this series to an extent, but they overdid that, type of thing. They even reenacted the interview with Hillary Clinton of the right wing conspiracy against my husband, because he won, he became president, yada yada yada. He beat George Bush for he won, all that stuff. I mean, come on, I mean, it's like overplayed, overdone with. True, very few people like Bill Clinton, and I know I didn't. Even though I was unfortunately voted for him twice. Bill Clinton was the first presidential election I ever voted in, was he ran in 1992, because I wanted Bush out because he screwed up the Gulf War, so I wanted Bush 41 out just because of that. But I regretted voting for him because one of the biggest jokes of, I mean, people talk about Trump being a joke. I said Bill Clinton is even more of a joke, because at least he actually did a crime to be impeached for, not Trump. But even though I didn't like Trump either, but whatever. But as a series, I didn't think the series was that bad. I can't believe it's been almost 19 minutes talking about this thing. But because it was that long of a series, and it's not bad, but I said the series could have been better. I felt the series could have been better. But, anyways, the dramatized version is when you always get one side over the other on these documentary style miniseries, and that's what happened. So that's my review of the series, of the FX series Impeachment. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com, so WDY, and C.com is the homepage and Rally Reviewer. Please see more, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.